different types of peatlands, different type of forests, and also wild rivers. We will look at landscapes, so oriented on landscape ecology with a peat taste, of course, what you can imagine from me, and specifically look at vegetation, vascular plants and mosses, not so much at animals. We will discuss and show you self-regulation and self-organization of peatlands, patch dynamics of forests, nature conservation management, and things related to greenhouse gases. And from the history, we will look at partisan history, because this was a nucleus of the resistance against Nazi Germany inside Russia. You need waders, boots, as high as possible, no, not as high as possible, but waders, no, that's too high. But normal boots until your knees are not always sufficient. I always have my boots like this, yeah? But that's good. There are always students who believe that they can go into a wet peatland with shoes. You can do that, but better take your shoes off and carry them, yeah? Be prepared on all the weather there is, sun, mostly, sometimes rain, and mosquitoes in the evening. We will also be swimming in every water that we meet, like a nice peatland lake and the Belaruss river, where also Napoleon drowned, as you know, his expedition to Russia. And we will look at peat extraction site, a peat briquette factory, and on the last day I said we take a look at the hero city of Minsk. Some ideas of landscape, a bog landscape. Here we are in one of the nicest percolation mires that are still existing in Europe. Alder forests. Derek showing you all the mosses. Derek is the worldwide specialist in mosses, and he will learn you all the mosses that you like, if you like it. We will crawl through forests that are drowning because of peatland expansion. It's not always easy walking, but we have brought all students back until now. Not every time at the same time. Sometimes we had to leave somebody there, for example, when a person lost her passport, because then you cannot leave the country anymore. That's a very difficult issue there. So we look at greenhouse gas emission research there. Here you see that it is not enough to have low boots. Sometimes you go deep in, and in the last years we see increasingly students who do it on barefoot. Temperature is actually high enough. We look at modern industry provided by Leipzig Machine Works, I think in the 1950s, there at briquette factory. We look at peat extraction taking place, and that is always nice to make a picture of the entire group with peat extraction in the background, like you don't see it anymore here. So we will look at the patch dynamics, storm effects on forest and regeneration, fire effects on forest and regeneration. We will swim wherever we see water, and we take a look at the partisan history, because this was such an extensive area of forest and swamps that the partisans, the resistance fighters, could hide there for several years, and they had entire villages and hospitals, etc. And you see the remainders of that in this area. Good, we will travel with maximum 22 students, because that is the limitation of the bus of the reserve, and that brings us, this area is rather large. If you have 120,000 hectares, then the other side is far away, and it is easier to let us bring from there, somewhere there, and then walk back. We will go from Berlin, and then travel by night train. We will stay in wooden houses, 6, 5 or 4 persons, with an own shower, toilet, small kitchen, bed and bed linen. We prepare the breakfast self, we take the lunch into the field. The dinner we always take in a restaurant, local food. And we have even managed over the years to organize vegetarian meals, which was in the beginning very strange for Belarusians. And even vegan, they know what it is by now. So they have also a small shop in Damsjø where you can buy specifically vodka, enormous diversity, biodiversity, a large variety, and some bread, milk, cheese, kefir, sausages, butter, beans, fish, and vegetables. So there we can buy the basic ingredients. This is, after the excursion, we go first to the shop to buy an ice cream. Yeah? The typical Russian ice creams. What do we need? Because we are going into Belarus, we need a visa. And to make it payable, we will make it into a group visa. And that is a serious procedure. We can only enter Belarus on personal invitation. So we have to have the passport data long before, so that we can get an invitation from there, that with the basis of the invitation we can go to the embassy, etc., etc. So if you have decided to go, you cannot change anymore. You can say, I'm not going, but then you anyhow pay. Unless you find a fellow student who is so stupid to pay 200 euros more to have a speed visa organized. Yeah? So we need your passport details. So you need a passport. Don't think that an identity card is sufficient. It is not. You need a passport. We have every year students who have no passport and come too late, and that is very difficult. This passport must be still valid 3 months after you have left Belarus. So not a passport at the end. You need for the visa a biometric pass photo with strict requirements, but we will tell you all these things. And non-Germans may have deviating rules. We have, for example, with Iranian people, they have to show personally at the embassy, show their bank account that they go back, etc., etc. Cubans can go without visa, yeah? Carlos, so it's not a problem. So if you do not go with us in a coordinated way, it becomes very complex and much more expensive, so then we take somebody else. We throw you out and take somebody with a passport, yes? It is good to have injections against FSMA, what is it, encephalitis? Yeah? And hepatitis B and things like that. When you are in the field, it's always good to have these things. Costs approximately 300 euros, but we can difficultly estimate it beforehand on 50 euros exactly, because that is depending on the train tickets that we can get. We will buy them as soon as possible. And on the costs, the value of the ruble. The Belarusian ruble, we have had it once, that within a week, the ruble lost 2/3 of its value. And this makes these things very difficult to estimate. But order of magnitude, 300 euros, that is a cheap price for what is offered. Thank you.